Shabbat Shalom. Our scripture reading for today is Matthew chapter 25, verse 6 through 9. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go you out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose, and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. Go you out, rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, members, don't get weary.
Members don't get weary. Members don't get weary. Members don't get weary. For the work's most done. Oh, keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. For the work's most done.
I'm going down to the river of Jordan. Oh yes, going down to the river of Jordan. Where my work is done. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Oh yes, sit at the welcome table. Oh yes, gonna sit at the welcome table where my work is done. Oh, I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Oh yes, feast on milk and honey. Oh yes, gonna feast on milk and honey where my work is done.
Members don't get weary. Members don't get weary. Members don't get weary. For the work's most done. Oh, keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. For the work's most done.
Oh, I'm going down to the river of Jordan. Oh yes, going down to the river of Jordan. Oh yes, going down to the river of Jordan where my work is done. Oh, I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Oh yes, sit at the welcome table. Oh yes, gonna sit at the welcome table where my work is done. Oh, I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Oh yes, feast on milk and honey. Oh yes, gonna feast on milk and honey where my work is done.
Members don't get weary. Members don't get weary. Members don't get weary. For the work's most done. Oh, keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. For the work's most done. For the work's most done. For the work's most done.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in this body of Yahshua. We're going to begin today in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verses 1 through 8. It says that there is a time for every purpose. When we get down into this, what we have to understand, then this overrides our education. Our education is one thing. Our education is about knowing and being able to discern what may be in front of us. But having the direction of the Spirit lets us know what time we are supposed to execute certain things. We can go through this book and know how or what Yahweh is going to do. We still don't know exactly how, and we still don't know exactly when. This is why it says, and it talked about those wise virgins making sure that they had oil in their lamps. The wise virgins made sure that they had something on their account. Why? Because you do not know when that is going to be required of you. And then you have foolish virgins, virgins nonetheless, but foolish because they were not prepared. They did not have oil in their lamps. Oil is symbolic of the Spirit. So we cannot be all education and no spirit. It is not going to prosper us. It is not going to help us in the long run. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
Now, you can have a certain level of understanding, but what if you are trying to build at a time that Yahweh is tearing down? None of the education that you have is helping you at that point. Because at this point, it says that we are not to grieve the Holy Spirit. Even with all of that education, you are now grieving the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit is trying to go left and you're trying to go right. And because of education, you believe that you're right. The very first thing that got us destroyed was eating from that tree. We got smarter and further from our Elohim at the same time. Now, which one you think was better? Being smarter or being closer to him? And this is where we have to learn that even with all of the things that we take in, we have to also leave ourselves open for the Spirit to give us direction. Go ahead.
A time to kill and a time to heal.
Now, what if, it says, wait a minute, a time to kill? Why would there be a time to kill? Yahweh says that killing is against his law until he wage holy war. Now, you trying to send roses and flowers and you sending poems. And Yahweh said, here, shoot this. But you in poetry mode now. You we and Yahweh trying to poo. You understand me? So we got a problem here. None of your education is helping you because you don't understand what time it is. Go ahead.
A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh.
Now, all you have to do is go through some of the instances of the Apocrypha and you'll see the weight of a statement like this. Here it is. They have been disobedient for too long. And Yahweh is in the process of plucking this thing piece by piece. And you keep getting various individuals who will come in and they'll fight the Gentiles and they may win a few battles. But guess what? It was during the time that he was tearing down. I don't care how good your military might is. I don't care how good you have physically trained. I don't care how good you have done all of that. You're doing it at the wrong time. And all it did was stretch out their punishment. They went through hell during the time of the Maccabees. Why? Because it was a time that he was tearing down. Once he get into tear down mode, ain't a damn thing you can do to build it up. All you doing is wasting time and stretching out that whooping. Go ahead.
A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away.
Now, hey, if you trying to keep something and Yahweh trying to get rid of it, I can tell you in the middle of turmoil. I don't care what it is you trying to keep. You trying to keep a job and Yahweh trying to get you out of there. You about to have some problem. You trying to keep a relationship and Yahweh trying to get rid of the relationship. I'm telling you, you about to have some problem. You saying, you know what? I want to live at this place. I want to keep this place. And Yahweh got some other place that he wants you to be. You about to have some problem. Simply because you just don't know what time it is. Not that everything you have in sight is wrong. You just got the little hand mixed up with the big hand. And if you mix up the little hand and the big hand, you damn sure don't know what time it is. I mean, you looking at the clock, but you ain't figured out, wait a minute, that's the little hand. I've been doing all this. Yeah, you've been doing all that. But it ain't going to prosper because you hadn't figured out what time it is. Go ahead.
A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace.
Hey, and if you get any of the situations misconstrued in verse 8, you have a serious problem. A time to love and a time to hate. Wait a minute, a time to hate? Now, you walking around with flowers and everybody else got a Uzi, I can tell you, you're going to have you some problems. Because at this point, Yahweh has already given all the opportunities that he's going to give. That means grace, period, is over. Now he's about to deal with that business. And that's not all grace, just the grace concerning that particular thing, and now he's about to deal with it. So at that point, now the time has changed. When he told the children of Israel, all right, go up, go take that land, they said, no, man. No, we went over there, man, the grapes was like this big, man. We scared. Now they done told everybody else, put the fear in everybody else. Then they said, all right, we'll go. He said, no, the time done changed. See, now you mixed up the little hand with the big hand. See, now you think you can go. No, you can't go now. See, because you didn't go when I asked you, you don't get to go now. But they still thought, no, we gonna go. And they went up and got tore up. By a little old bitty force that they should have been able to go in there and slap around. It's different when the Spirit not with you. Things go different when the Spirit don't agree with you. So even the things that they were supposed to physically be able to overcome, they were not able to. The time changed. And they changed the time by their disobedience. I want to read something in Ecclesiastes 7:14. It says, in the day of prosperity, be joyful. But in the day of adversity, consider. Elohim has also set one over against the other to the end that man should find nothing after him. So one of our biggest problems, it says in the day of adversity, be joyful, but in the day of adversity, consider. Some of the things that have gotten our people like seriously yoked up is that whole thing of keeping it real. And we thought keeping it real mean we're going to keep it the same all the way across the board. You are either going to go to prison or you're going to die. You can keep it real and you're going to keep yourself real deep in that cell over there. That's what's going on. You either going now or you going deep in that ground. See, all of these points, these verses, as there's a different time, things must be dealt with differently because of the time. But if we're all on this, keep it real, brother said something to me, I had to say something back to him. Because, I'm trying to keep it real. You're about to go bye-bye. Trying to keep it real. There are certain times when you need to realize that you need to keep your mouth real shut. See, you might be in the midst of a bona fide killer and you think you just having a discussion. See, right down south, they got a little place called School of the Americas, where they teach other little individuals, and they done got these people from South America, other places, and they teaching these people all kind of stuff. I'm talking Navy SEAL stuff. Now, here's the problem. You might run into one of them at the Walmart. But he in Stone Cold Killer training. And you arguing over your parking spot. They teaching him how to topple governments. Okay? You upset because he closer to the Walmart. You about to get, and let me tell you something, this little country town now, so you think, man, what this little country dude know? Okay? You about to find out. You about to find out. They purposely put this dude underwater, carrying bags, and make sure he stay underwater. And you arguing about your parking spot at the Walmart. You don't understand what time it is. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26. Leviticus 26, and we're going to start with verses 14 through 17.
But if you will not hearken unto me and will not do all these commandments, and if you shall despise my statutes, if your soul abhor my judgments, so that you will not do all my commandments, but that you break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I'll even appoint over you terror.
Now, hold on. So, on one hand, we are told not to fear, but then in other instances, we're supposed to have fear. Then we need to be able to accept that the right way. See, one of the dumbest things we can get into is that, I ain't never scared. And see, hey, it was a popular song, but I guarantee you it's a lot of knuckles in the ground right now. And they were singing that same song, I ain't never scared. Bow, 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 bow. Done deal. He should have been scared. He should have been scared. See, he didn't know what time it was. He should have been scared. See, the scared people came back tomorrow. The non-scared people are pushing up daisies right now. You need to understand what time it is. Sometimes it ain't time to be never scared. Go ahead.
Consumption and the burning ague, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I'll set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and you shall flee when none pursues you.
So if you shall flee when none pursue you, then part of the curse is fear. Part of what he has given you within the punishment is fear. Jump to verse 33.
And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. Then shall the land enjoy her Shabbats, as long as it lies desolate, and you be in your enemy's land, even then shall the land rest, and enjoy her Shabbats. As long as it lies desolate, it shall rest, because it did not rest in your Shabbats, when you did dwell upon it.
No, now, so you get to have to deal with fear that's not even real. Okay? Because you wouldn't allow your land to have peace on the Sabbath. Go ahead.
And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies. And the sound of a shaken leaf shall chase them, and they shall flee as fleeing from a sword, and they shall fall when none pursues.
So when you're running from a fallen leaf, let me show you how bad fear is. You know when you're running from a leaf, you step on another leaf. And now you think that leaf is chasing you. So now the more leaves you step on, the faster you're running because you think something else is chasing you. And it's the same leaf that you stepping on that you was running from when you heard the first leaf fall. But that's part of our punishment. All we had to do was to walk in the commandments that he has given unto us. And now this fear does not envelop us. So then Yahweh is in the midst of some of these fears that we have been given. Let's go to Luke chapter 21. Luke chapter 21, and we're going to start that at verse 5.
And as some spake of the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said, As for these things which you behold, the days will come, in the which there shall not be left one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down.
Do you understand that what he's saying to them is absolutely horrific? Everything that they have, they base around this temple. Even so much that the Gentiles realize that, hey, we can control them if we infiltrate the temple. Instead of trying to keep militarily dealing with these people, infiltrate their practices, learn how they operate. Go back to Daniel. What did the heathen say? We should not find a problem with him unless we find it concerning the law of his Elohim. That's the only way we're going to find a problem with Daniel. You can look at everything else. I'm telling you, you're not going to find no problem. If you really want to have an issue with him, learn about his God. You have to understand how deep that is. That somebody would have an issue with you, and they're so dedicated to flourishing in this issue with you that they will learn about your God just so they can find out a way to have an issue with you. This is what they did. They watched him long enough to see this is what he do. Now, this is why he do it. So go ahead and do this. And I'm telling you, now we got a problem with that. Go ahead.
And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, Take heed that you be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Mashiach. And the time draws near. Will you not therefore after them? But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you, and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony.
It shall turn to you for a testimony. Now, as the nations are doing all that they can do that is in the power of their hands, they don't really understand that they are creating a testimony for the true children of Israel. While they say that they are moving in support of Israel, they are actually giving a testimony to the real Israel. Go ahead.
Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what you shall answer. For I'll give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And you shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren, and kinsfolks and friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death.
All you have to do is get into this word. What Yahshua say? I didn't come to send peace, but a sword. You get in this word and watch how it divides the middle of a house. Now you got the difference between who gonna walk in the word and who gonna walk in their feelings. And the ones that walk in their feelings will ask you all of these questions about proving what it is you do. They can't answer one question about why they do what they do. Because when it's based on feelings, you don't need to have a reason. Feelings don't need reason. Logic needs reason. Feeling don't need reason. They don't believe that they have to explain their feelings. But you need to explain your action. Go ahead.
And you should be hated of all men for my name's sake, but there shall not an hair of your head perish. In your patience possess you your souls. And when you shall see Jerusalem come past with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out.
Now, let's say you in the wrong part of this understanding. So you say, you know what? Yahweh gonna take care of us. So then the armies come and you just stand there. You damn well better know what time it is. Go ahead.
And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations.
Now, not one, here we go. The New Testament is telling you and giving you, understand, it's telling you what is going to happen to the children of Israel. Okay? This is the spirit of prophecy coming forth out of Yahshua. He's given step by step. Now, we have to go into history now to see the things that are written in the New Testament. See, we can go and look in history and we can go and see where Titus came in, destroyed Jerusalem down to the bedrock. We can then see how the true children of Israel were led away captive into many nations. Yet in this day and time, we are told to accept that all of Israel came out of a country that we can't even see how they got there. Because you do understand that you got to go through the invading army to get to the other part of Europe, right? You do understand? So the army coming this way, but you gonna run from them and run at them, and somehow they miss you. And then you went way over here, and everybody settled in one spot. Don't make no sense. How you get past these people and they will come in to get you? It don't make sense that you would run in the direction of the invading army. It makes sense that you would run the other way, which is where? Deeper in Africa. Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
I'm sorry, who gonna trodden down Jerusalem?
Gentiles.
Okay, so Gentiles gonna stump and walk on Jerusalem until when?
The time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So Gentiles are going to have control of Israel until the rulership of Gentiles is over. I need you to let that sit right there. Let that marinate for just a second. That is the New Testament. Everybody say they believe in it. Everybody say they believe in it. Wait a minute. Yahshua, the one here, everybody say they believe in, he has given you the steps. What's going to happen to the children of Israel? They're going to be sent into all nations, and the Gentiles are going to trodden down Jerusalem until their specified time of rulership on the earth is over. Man, I don't know if folks think they read. Go ahead, Bree.
You know, Elder, this statement, like you were talking about looking at their history books, right?
And it's their history book.
But
we ain't write them history book.
But nowhere in their history books do they show either Hamites going in and trodden it down.
Nope.
No people of color went in there and tried it down, right?
No, they tell you there wasn't no colored people nowhere near there.
Right, but yet we claiming we Gentiles.
Hey, none of that make no sense, bro. None of it. But see, people are giving you something else to be entertained with. Maybe you are so focused on how many bottles of baby oil Diddy had, so you're not really paying attention to, you know what I'm saying? I just got disrespected by one of my daughters and said, "Daddy, to put that shirt on, you're gonna need some Diddy oil." I said, you know what? Okay, the shirt was a little tight. I ain't gonna lie. But that was just damn right disrespectful. All right? But if we focusing on that, then we're not focusing on some of the other things that are taking place right before our eyes. Okay? And you have to ask, is that their design? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear.
Men's hearts failing them for fear. It is going to be so tumultuous that men's heart will just give out. And you have to look at, what is being depicted in this graphic. And there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, distress of nations. Understand, at some point, it says the stars are going to fall to heaven. Fall to earth, I mean. But stars bigger than the earth. What are you talking about?
Come on. Yes, sir.
So now we're talking about those angels getting evicted.
Yes, sir.
And what we know about a demon? It's got to look for a body to inhabit. So now you got scores of demons making it to the earth. And when anything come through that atmosphere, even the asteroid, it catch on fire coming through. All right? So you're looking at all these balls of fire shooting through. And when it lands, it's looking for a body. Because now it has left the spirit realm and now it's in the physical realm. I need a physical body to do some physical damage. This is when you get back to that thing where it says when an unclean spirit goes away from a man and then it comes back and find it clean, swept, and garnished, but it ain't protected. Guess where you think them demons going? Oh, I found me a good house. 2-story. Look at that. This one tall. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And when they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
Now understand, now that's going to give some of them heart attack too. All right? So you got a heart attack, first of all, when these demonic angels are kicked out of heaven, because, we've been told that's already happened. So, when your timing messed up, it really shake you up. So you already say, Lucifer already been kicked out of heaven. And then when you see all this stuff coming out, you're like, well, what the hell is that? All right? Now, not having the timing right, now your heart beating faster. Then when you see the Son of Man coming in the clouds, what the hell that dude look like Buju Banton? Uh-oh. Now we got a problem. Wait a minute. That dude look like all them people you've been mistreating. Oh, here come another heart attack right here. Because in their hearts and minds, they have pictured that Borgia dude. And now you like, well, who the hell is that on that horse? Who is that? Another heart attack. Go ahead.
They gonna say that's the devil, right?
They got to say something. That's got to be the devil. Ain't no way. And where you get that horse? Okay. Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 28. And when they see these things, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near.
Now, your redemption draws near, but everybody not looking for a Messiah. People who own stadiums and teams and they're not looking for nobody. What they need saving for? They're in charge of hedge funds and banks. And what they need saving for? He says, look up because your redemption draws near. Go ahead, brother. You finish that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to Leviticus chapter 10. See, the redemption of the children of Israel is resurrection. What did he say? If they have been cut off, and if he regathered them into the tree, is that not life from death? You are playing your part in the resurrection and don't even know it. To the people of the earth, you are already dead. We ain't got to worry about them. They have done everything they can do to systematically take away our power. And when Yahweh give it back, it is going to be one of the most frightening things they have ever seen. Leviticus chapter 10, and let's start that at verse 1.
And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before Yahweh, which he commanded them not.
Now, you may have the ability to do something and do it the wrong way. Now, you out of time. Now you doing something at the wrong time, in the wrong space, in the wrong place. Now you're going to have to get dealt with. And Yahweh don't have no respect to persons when it comes down. Now, he has consideration based on who his servants are and the level of servitude that they have put in. But at the end of the day, what's crooked going to have to be made straight. Go ahead.
And there went out fire from Yahweh, and devoured them, and they died before Yahweh. Then Moshe said unto Aaron, This is it that Yahweh spake, saying, I'll be sanctified in them that come near me, and before all the people I'll be glorified. And Aaron held his peace.
Now, would we be able to hold our peace if two of our sons just got killed? Because, all that some people need to do is suffer any kind of loss in the word, and they are no longer in the word. My family went to that church, and then they passed away. I'm out of it. I don't want to hear nothing else about no word. That's all they need to do is suffer any kind of loss. This is why it's talking about those different seeds spread among. Some of the seed went into stony ground. Okay? And as soon as there was anything that happened, they withered up and it was done. All they needed to do is run into something that they didn't agree with, and it was over. But now you talk about something pretty strong. Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them censers and offered up strange incense. And Yahweh took care of them right away. Now here go the daddy, who is still in a place of serving Yahweh, and his two sons is out of here. Now, does he now operate with indignation toward Yahweh? Go ahead.
And Moshe called Mishael and Elzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said unto them, Come near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. So they went near and carried them in their coats out of the camp, as Moshe had said. And Moshe said unto Aaron, and unto Eleazar, and unto Ithamar, his sons, Uncover not your heads.
Now wait a minute. You still got a job to do. Hey, you close unto Yahweh. You better not take your head covering off. So first of all, that let us know if they were already close to Yahweh, they had already had their head covered. He said, do not uncover your head. You ain't finna mourn. Go ahead.
Neither rend your clothes, lest you die, and lest wrath come upon all the people.
Now, look at where the responsibility and the weight sits. Okay? Uncover not your heads, neither rend your clothes, lest you die and wrath come upon all the people. Wait a minute. So if they get into their feelings about their brother who has gotten killed because of his own or their own doing, now wrath not only comes upon them because they in their feelings, but then there's no protection for the people. So all you got to do is just get the little bit itsy teeny weeny into your feelings. And now everybody is getting destroyed. Why? Because that was the boundary line for the judgment. But if your boundary line gets weak because it got in its feelings, now that judgment passed where it's supposed to go, and now it goes unto the people. Go ahead.
You're on the head priest, right?
Yep.
And his 2 sons are there with him.
Uh-huh.
So it wasn't just for the head priest alone.
Nope.
Okay. Just
Nope.
asking.
But then you look at this situation. Hey, everybody got to have their feelings hurt right now. You talking about a daddy who done lost 2 sons, and we talking about sons who done lost brothers. Everybody could be in their feelings right now. This could be a real feeling fest. Okay? You talking about an opportunity for a lot of things to be happening right now. They could be upset. What you mean? Not don't uncover my. I want to cry for my brother. No, you gonna cry for your brother some other time. Right now, you're gonna hold up that gate so that plague don't come in and kill the rest of Israel. See, we don't even consider that. See, we all in our own, how we feel, how we think, and what we believe at this particular moment. Take it off if you want to, then all them people gonna die. Go ahead.
But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, bewail the burnings which Yahweh has kindled.
Right, he ain't said couldn't nobody cry. All them can cry. You just can't. They can take off whatever they want to take off. You just can't. Let them deal in that fear. Let them deal in that mourning. You bet not. You hold up the breach that they made. Go ahead.
And you shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, lest you die. For the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moshe. And Yahweh spake unto Aaron, saying, Do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest you die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. And that you may put difference between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean. And that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which Yahweh had spoken unto them by the hand of Moshe. And Moshe spake unto Aaron and unto Eleazar and unto Ithamar, his sons, that were left.
You know, that's always a bad situation when you have to mention the sons and say that were left. That ain't never really a conversation you want to have. What do you mean that was left? You know, all of them Yahweh didn't kill. Go ahead.
Take the meat offering that remains of the offerings of Yahweh made by fire, and eat it without leaven beside the altar, for it is most holy. And you shall eat it in the holy place, because it is your due.
Now, wait a minute. Now, if somebody else was in a position, they have turned around and done some things out of order. Now, somebody else just moved up. Somebody else got to do this job. See, there's levels of things. See, when you deal with this situation with Aaron, you're talking about, yeah, he the high priest, but you got to understand the dynamic. He is priest of Israel, high priest of Israel, but he also the priest of his own house. Them his boys he got to deal with. You got 2 levels of things that's happening right here. Go ahead.
And your sons do of the sacrifices of Yahweh made by fire, for so I am commanded. And the wave breast and heave shoulder shall you eat in a clean place, you and your sons and your daughters with you. For they be your due, and your sons' due, which are given out of the sacrifices of peace offerings of the children of Israel. The heave shoulder and the wave breast shall they bring with the offerings made by fire of the fat, to wave it for a wave offering before Yahweh. And it shall be yours and your sons with you, by a statute forever, as Yahweh has commanded. And Moshe diligently sought the goat of the sin offering, and, behold, it was burnt. And he was angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, which were left alive, saying,
Which were left alive. Now, wait a minute now. That these were left alive. He angry with them. Now, at this point, do they go into a different fear mode? Like, wait a minute, now, Yahweh done killed our brothers. And now you coming at us angry. Hey, bro, we feeling some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when you come at me angry, bro. I done lost 2 brothers in this word. Now, to some people, they ain't even there. Because once they lost, first of all, if we lose 1 in the word, let alone 2, somebody lose 2 in the word, they ain't even in the word no more. They around it, but they ain't in it. They done suffered loss and they still there. And now they getting approached by Moshe. Hey, this could be a little heavy for some. Go ahead.
Wherefore have you not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing it is most holy, and Elohim has given it to you to bear the lawlessness of the congregation?
To bear the lawlessness of the congregation. So they have to consume the offering to bear the lawlessness of the children of Israel. So then you go back to when this loss first happened. If they decided to uncover their head, we got a problem. Who bearing the sin of the people then? Now you just let it go right to them. Now they're not going to be able to withstand, because see that plague going to come in and it's going to start killing hundreds upon thousands, all because you got in your feelings and decided to uncover your head. Go ahead.
To make atonement for them before Yahweh.
That's the key word, atonement. Go ahead.
Behold, the blood of it was not brought in within the holy place. You should indeed have eaten it in the holy place, as I commanded. And Aaron said unto Moshe, Behold, this day have they offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before Yahweh, and such things have befallen me. And if I had eaten the sin offering today, should it have been accepted in the sights of Yahweh? And when Moshe heard that, he was content.
When Moshe heard the reason, now he know what time it is. That one little bit, coming up to that, Moshe is like, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have done this. He said, but look, something has befallen me. Oh. That was it. He said all of these things, and Moshe was right about everything. But because of the one situation, the time changed. Oh. That's all he needed to know. Okay. Now I know why. That's a valid reason. All right, I'm done. See y'all tomorrow. But see, if we just operate in fear without any type of understanding, now we so fearful that the things we should not be doing, we are doing, and we use fear to cause us to do it.
You know, Elder, even in that situation, like you say, he said one thing, we'll get off and, man, why are you coming at me like this, man? I'm tired of this and that, and you always coming. Man, even go through all that. And then we eventually get to the point and be like, damn, bro, why you ain't say that from the get-go?
Right. Right. It could have been a whole lot more said right there. But at the end of the day, it was about getting the job done. And if it's about getting the job done, then move the feelings out the way and let's get the job done. Let's go to Matthew chapter 8. See, we can get all kind of things accomplished if we don't care who get the credit. And you see how what was happening there, it was the 2 sons that didn't do it, right? Who was the conversation had with?
Aaron.
See, there's levels to this, okay? So the sons didn't take care of such and such. Moshe didn't come talk to, hey, why these boys didn't go? Now the conversation between him and Aaron. He's talking to the high priest. He ain't talking to them. See, this is the part that get confusing with us about our houses. How something else can happen, and it might be somebody else in your house that do it, but Yahweh gonna come talk to you. Why? You the head of the house. The priesthood didn't Aaron wasn't just a priest when he was at the temple. He was still a priest when he went to the house. When they start talking about eating those offerings, what they say? It says your sons and your daughters. Wait a minute. He got to, all of them had to deal with that. Even though when he goes to the house, yeah, he daddy, he's still priest. And that's the very thing that gets some people in trouble. They can't see that way. This is what got Miriam in trouble. That she felt so easily able to speak against her brother. To her, it's just her brother. I'm sorry, sweetie, but that's priest. That's higher than a priest. That's the man who anointed the priest, who is the high priest. So what the hell that make him? I'm sorry, I know that's your brother, but you're about to get your mouth about to write a check that your John Brown hind parts can't cash. You can't cash that check. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 5. And when Yahshua was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Adonai, my servant lies at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Yahshua says unto him, I'll come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Adonai, I'm not worthy that you should come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I'm a man under authority, having soldiers under me, and I say to this man, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Yahshua heard it, he marveled, and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. And I say unto you, that many shall come from the east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Esaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And Yahshua said unto the centurion, Go your way, and as you have believed, so be it done unto you. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour.
And Yahshua said unto the centurion, Go your way. And as you have believed, wait a minute. Your redemption, your deliverance is connected to your level of belief. He said, I ain't got to have you go there. My house ain't worthy enough for you to go in it. If you just say, I believe it's going to be done when I get there. Yahshua marveled. You don't see this kind of faith. Not among my own people. You don't see this kind of faith. He don't have to see me physically do it to believe that it's done. Y'all know that ain't how we operate. We want to see every part of the process. Then we'll believe. Go ahead.
And when Yahshua was coming to Cephas' house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her. And she arose and ministered unto them. When the evening was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Esaias the prophet, saying, Himself took out infirmities and bare our sicknesses. Now when Yahshua saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow you wheresoever you go.
Now, verse 18, now when Yahshua saw great multitudes about him, he gave the commandment to depart unto the other side. He said, now there are too many people. You ain't never seen a mega church turn the way, you know what, this is just too much. Right? There's too much money. I don't want to count all this. Right. Yahshua said, no, they're too many. Let's go. Let's. I need to go somewhere else. It's too many people now. Go ahead.
And Yahshua says unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has not where to lay his head.
Now, I can guarantee you in certain Sunday morning churches, this was not read because they said Jesus built subdivisions. He was a carpenter, but you know he built whole subdivisions. So, you know he was into the prosperity doctrine. So you know this makes this verse very difficult to read when you're trying to sell that prosperity doctrine and how rich everybody need to be. This is why you got to jump all over and you can't read one full chapter. You have folks been going to church for 30 years, ain't read one full chapter of any book. Because what's going to happen is verse 20 going to contradict what they tried to teach about verse 2. So they needed to make sure that you didn't get that entire subject matter. So they wouldn't read that entire subject. Go ahead.
And another of his disciples said unto him, Adonai, suffer me first to go in to bury my father. But Yahshua said unto him, follow me, and let the dead bury the dead.
For some of us, that's the last day we followed Yahshua right there. That's it. Right there, that was it. Our feelings have already separated us. Go ahead.
And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Adonai, save us, we perish. And he says unto them, why are you fearful, O you of little faith?
Why are you fearful? Go ahead.
Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?
Right. What manner of man is this? Jump to chapter 9 and start at verse 14.
Then came to him the disciples of Johanan, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast often, but your disciples fast not? And Yahshua said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them?
So then, even as we're dealing with certain aspects of righteousness, salvation, and judgment, we have to consider a few things. Okay, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? Okay, so Aaron has 2 children to die, and it is told him, his son, do not uncover your head. Wait a minute, you can't mourn in the bride chamber. You can't mourn in the presence of Yahweh. Were you trying to die? Are you trying to die? You can't mourn here. Wait a minute. Here go Yahshua on the other side of the book. Oh, they can't fast while I'm here? They can't mourn while I'm here? We keep thinking that it's talking about different things. What? How is it that we don't get that? Go ahead.
But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast.
When he is gone, then you can mourn. You can't do it now. But see, because they didn't understand that, now they perceive them differently. They perceive them differently. Because they don't know what time it is. Why? The fasting is a righteous thing, right? Why are your people not doing it? Go ahead. Hit that other air, bro.
No man puts a piece of new cloth onto an old garment, for that which is put in to fill it up takes from the garment, and the rent is made worse. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, else the bottles break, and the wine runs out, and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles, and both are preserved. While he spake these things unto them, behold, there came a certain ruler, and worshipped him, saying, my daughter is even now dead. But come and lay your hand upon her, and she shall live. And Yahshua arose and followed him, and so did his disciples. And behold, a woman, which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years, came behind him, and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole. But Yahshua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Your faith has made you whole. And the woman was made whole from that hour.
Your faith has made you whole. So there's one thing making it to Yahshua. There's another thing having the faith that can be accomplished. Go ahead.
And when Yahshua came into the ruler's house and saw the minstrels and the people making a noise, he said unto them, Give me place, for the maid is not dead, but sleeps. And they laughed him to scorn. But when the people were put forth, he went in and took her by the hand, and the maid arose.
Now, wait a minute. Now, he said unto them, Give place, for the maid is not dead, but sleeps. And they laughed him to scorn. But when the people were put forth, wait a minute. There's too much disbelief in the room. I can't do no work right now. Why you didn't go ahead and take care of that business, and you can go ahead and make all of them believers? No. It's the power of disbelief is too strong in this room. Send them out of here. See, we go into a room full of disbelief, and then we don't understand why we're not successful. That sure didn't work into that room in disbelief. Hey, man, get them out of here, man. There's too much disbelief in this room. I'm trying to work a miracle, and all this disbelief is blocking me. You got to know when you're in a room full of disbelief. Go ahead.
And the fame hereof went abroad into all that land. And when Yahshua departed thence, 2 blind men followed him, crying and saying, You son of David, have mercy on us. And when he was come into the house, the blind men came to him. And Yahshua says unto them, Believe you that I am able to do this?
Do you believe that I am able to do this? Wait a minute. Here we go. Now another level of putting the other ones out the room. Can't work with this disbelief. See, you got to make sure that your fear is not the fear of disbelief. If your fear is the fear of disbelief, you are limiting your Elohim. Go ahead.
They said unto him, Yes, Adonai. Then touched he their eyes, saying, According to your faith, be it unto you.
Right. Now, whoa. An individual can't see, but yet believe what they have never seen. They've never seen it done before, because they ain't never seen nothing. They couldn't have never seen it, because they ain't never seen nothing. Yet they believe. We don't start believing until we see. Go ahead.
You know, Elder, his statement was, According to your faith, be it unto you.
Uh-huh.
So that's 2 of them. If one faith ain't at the same level as the other, somebody gonna see better than the other person.
Right. You get your level of redemption, your level of salvation, your level of healing is according to your belief. So then do you look at the other one and say, well, Yahshua gave me a half blessing. You gave you a half blessing. He didn't give you no half blessing. You had half belief. So he gave you half deliverance. He can't work what ain't there. Your disbelief blocked that. Go ahead.
And their eyes were opened, and Yahshua straightly charged them, saying, See that no man knows it. But they, when they were departed, spread abroad his fame in all that country.
Right. He might as well have said, go and tell everybody, because that's pretty much how that works. When we say, I'm going to tell you something, but don't tell nobody. What we heard was, I ain't going to tell nobody else after this first person. Let's go. Deuteronomy chapter 21. Deuteronomy 21, and let's read verses 10 through 14.
When you go forth to war against your enemies, and Yahweh your Elohim has delivered them into your hands, and you have taken them captive, and sees among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her that you would have her to your wife, then you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in your house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month.
Bewail her father and her mother a full month. Go ahead.
And after that you shall go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be your wife. And it shall be, if you have no delight in her, then you shall let her go whither she will, but you shall not sell her at all for money. You shall not make merchandise of her, because you have humbled her.
All right, so the part of mourning for her father and her mother, wait a minute, that's 2 losses. She get a full month. That's 30 days. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 34. Because, you know, you look up and some folk be mourning about stuff for decades. You ask them about something, yeah, man, this situation happened. You'd be like, man, that was horrible. When did it happen? 79. 79? What the hell are we talking about here? All right. Deuteronomy 34. Let's read verses 1 through 12.
And Moshe went up from the plains of Moab onto the mountain of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And Yahweh showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Yehudah unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. And Yahweh said unto him, This is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Esaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I'll give it unto your seed. I have caused you to see it with your eyes, but you shall not go over thither. So Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of Yahweh. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knows of his grave unto this day. And Moshe was 120 years old when he died.
120 years old. Keep going.
His eyes was not dim.
His eyes was not dim.
Nor his natural force abated.
Nor his natural force abated. Still had strength. Still had eyesight. His eyes was not dim. Hell, I got on glasses now. 120. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel wept for Moshe in the plains of Moab 30 days.
Wait a minute. Now we talking about the man who went and spoke to Elohim for them. The man who stood in the breach for them. The man who started glowing because he spent so much time with Yahweh. They got 30 days. You got folks that's been mourning the same loss for 20 and 30 years. Well, you know, as soon as I stop mourning, when the hell that gonna be? This man was in the presence of Elohim. We mourning somebody who we met at Santa Cab Mall. Go ahead.
So the days of weeping and mourning for Moshe were ended. And Yahshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moshe had laid his hands upon him. And the children of Israel hearkened unto him, and did as Yahweh commanded Moshe. And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moshe, whom Yahweh knew face to face. And all the signs and the wonders which Yahweh sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh, and to all his servants, and to all his land. And in all that mighty hand, and in all that great terror which Moshe showed in the sight of all Israel.
All right, so even as great as this man was, they had 30 days of mourning. Not 30 years. Let's go to Genesis chapter 50. But see, we'll make a reason why we need to mourn more than, you know, the man who was face to face with Yahweh. See, you just don't know how good Junebug was. See, that's why. Okay, he was better than Moshe. So you telling me Junebug had to put a cover over his face because Junebug was glowing? Okay. So you telling me Junebug spent time face to face with Yahweh himself? That's what you telling me? Oh, okay. So he get more morning time than Moshe, the leader who led the children of Israel out of captivity. Junebug get more morning time than Moshe. Okay. Genesis chapter 50. Let's start at verse 1.
And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel.
All right, you know, here in the land of Israel, in the land of the Egyptians. Mm-hmm. Now Israel is dealing with the Egyptian way of burial. Go ahead.
And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days.
So the Egyptians mourned 70 days. Now we see when we start dealing with heathens, how our mourning period starts increasing. Now we got heathens in the mix. Now we start doing what the heathens do. Go ahead.
And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shall you bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray you, and bury my father, and I'll come again. And Pharaoh said, Go up, and bury your father, according as he has made you swear. And Joseph went out to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt. And all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house, only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians. Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan. And his sons did unto him according as he commanded them. For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, which Abraham bought with the field for a possession, for a burying place of Ephron the Hittite before Mamre. And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father, after he had buried his father. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us, and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. Mm-hmm. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Your father did command before he died, saying, So shall you say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray you now, the trespass of your brethren, and their sin. For they did unto you evil, and now we pray you, forgive the trespass of the servants of the Elohim of your father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell up down before his face. And they said, Behold,
all the stuff they said they weren't going to do. All the stuff they said, oh, shall we bow down to you? Yep. That's what you're going to do. But then when you go and read some of the things that the father was saying in mourning, oh, he was so hurt about this boy. They went to try to comfort his father. He said, I'm going to go down to my grave mourning the loss of my son. So he spent all this time mourning. The whole time, his son wasn't dead. A lot of times we think that we show our amount of care by how much we mourn. A black funeral can be a spectacle. It can be a real spectacle. And we talking about some people who did the most wrong to the individual in that box. Is the one who damn near trying to climb in the box. Take me with you! Hey, man, get out the damn box, man. It's not a double wide. It's not a double wide. Can't but one person fit in there. It's the person who did the most against the individual is the one who's screaming the loudest. Because now we got to show how much we care. And we think our level of mourning shows our level of care. Now here it is. This father has proclaimed, I am going to go down to the grave mourning my son. Whole time his son ain't dead. But then he spent all these years mourning a death that never happened. In fact, the one who he's mourning buries him. He's mourning the death of a child who buries him. Right. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 15. First Samuel chapter 15, and let's start that at verse 10.
Then came the word of Yahweh unto Samuel, saying, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he's turned back from following me, and has not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto Yahweh all night. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal.
Now, Samuel is grieved about Yahweh's decision concerning Saul. Go ahead.
And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be you of Yahweh. I have performed the commandments of Yahweh. And Samuel said, What mean then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of oxen which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto Yahweh your Elohim, and the rest we've utterly destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Then Samuel said unto
Yahweh
Saul,
said destroy everything. And his answer is the people. Now he the king, but he said the people have spared them. Go ahead.
Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I'll tell you what Yahweh has said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. Samuel said, When you was little in your own sight, was you not made the head of the tribes of Israel, and Yahweh anointed you king over Israel? And Yahweh sent you on a journey, and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then did you not obey the voice of Yahweh, but did fly upon the spoil, and did evil in the sight of Yahweh?
Mm-hmm.
And Saul said unto Samuel, Yes, I have obeyed the voice of Yahweh.
Now we understand why the Benjamites don't need to be king. They need to just be fighters, and somebody need to tell them who to fight. Go kill those people. You don't let the Benjamites figure out who to fight. Now they can fight, but if they figure out who to fight, everybody dead. Don't let them figure out who to fight. They know how to fight, but they don't know who to fight. They need somebody to help tell them, fight those people. Otherwise, they just fight till ain't nobody left. He lacketh the understanding here, but he damn sure know how to fight. But you know Yahweh knew it wasn't going to be successful anyway, right? The kings come out of Judah. When they asked for a king, he was like, you want one? I'm going to tell you what kind of king you're going to get. Then he picks a man from Benjamin. He already know he going to fail. He don't come from the right tribe. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. Well, no scepter given to Benjamin. Go ahead.
and have gone the way which Yahweh sent me.
And what did it say about Benjamin? He's a wild man, like a wolf. He shall raven. That way, so he knew what he was going to put. He gave you the raven as a wolf to be your leader. Go ahead.
And have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed.
See, this is what happened when a man don't understand when he is the head of the house. This is what happens. See, now he blaming the house for what the house did. So you got to understand how stupid that sounds to Yahweh. Yeah, I know what. No, see, no, my living room window did that. Yeah, what? No, the living room window had opened and then the air came from the basement door. What? The hell are you talking about? No, it wasn't my house per se. What? You telling me that the blame is on the living room window in the house that you the priest of? You blaming it on the window? But I gave you control of the house? Right. Go ahead.
To sacrifice unto Yahweh your Elohim in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Is Yahweh's great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft.
Wait a minute. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So if you constantly are rebellious, you might well put together some potions. Go ahead.
And stubbornness is as lawlessness and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yahweh, he has also rejected you from being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandments of Yahweh and your words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice.
Stop. Fear has to be put in its place. He's fearing the wrong entity. He's fearing the people instead of fearing Yahweh. He's more concerned with what the people might say and do rather than what Yahweh will say and do. And any of us can get into that situation, man. Don't sit here and we'll read this and say, well, I never. Hell, you probably did last week. Look, any of us in the right situation and circumstances, you will fear what the people will say or think about something rather than how your Elohim feel about it. And we know that because we got social media. See, we worry about what the post gonna look like. Not 9 times has Yahweh posted anything on your social, not one time. I am disappointed, my child. Not one. Holler back. No, ain't damn time did he post on there. So you more worried about what them people gonna say than what he feels. Go ahead.
Now therefore I pray you, pardon my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship Yahweh. And Samuel said unto Saul, I will not turn with you, for you have rejected the word of Yahweh, and Yahweh has rejected you from being king over Israel. And as Samuel turned about to go away, he laid hold upon the skirt of his mantle, and it rent. And Samuel said unto him, Yahweh has rent the kingdom of Israel from you this day, and has given it to a neighbor of yours that is better than you. And also the strength of Israel will not lie nor repent, for he is not a man that he should repent. Then he said, I have sinned, yet honor me now, I pray you, before the elders of my people.
You see what we worried about? You see what we worried about? Not honor me before the people. See, I need you honor me on Facebook. I know I did wrong, and I know he doesn't turn, but make this post for me. Right. Before the people. Go ahead.
And before Israel, and turn again with me, that I may worship Yahweh your Elohim. So Samuel turned again after Saul, and Saul worshipped Yahweh. Then said Samuel, Bring you hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came on to him delicately. And Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As your sword has made women childless, so shall your mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before Yahweh in Gilgal.
Right. The beast had to be sacrificed. And the king didn't do the job that he was supposed to do. So now the priest has to do the job that the king wouldn't do. Go ahead.
Then Samuel went to Ramah, and Saul went up to his house, to Gibeah of Saul. And Samuel came no more to see Saul until the day of his death. Nevertheless, Samuel mourned for Saul, and Yahweh repented that he had made Saul king over Israel.
Now, here's the problem. Samuel's still mourning for Saul. See, sometimes we get a little bit too connected to the job that Yahweh has given us. It was Samuel's job to anoint who Yahweh told him to anoint. Now he's taken that job a little personally, and now he's mourning that Yahweh has rejected who he anointed. Now, is he caught up in, I ain't going to have a perfect record now. Normally, everybody I anoint, they do great things, but you about to kill this one. I don't know what could possibly be in his head. But he is more connected than the entity who sent him to go do the job. And Yahweh has to tell him, man, stop mourning for Saul. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Samuel, How long will you mourn for Saul?
How long you gonna keep doing this? I done already turned, man. And you still mourning. Go ahead.
Seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel, fill your horn with oil, and go. I'll send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons.
Uh-huh.
And Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul will hear it, he will kill me.
But this is what you're mourning after. You mourning after something that will kill you if it finds out you about to anoint something else. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said, Take an heifer with you, and say, I'm come to sacrifice to Yahweh.
All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16. See, we not only mourn things that meant something good to us. We mourn the damn folk that trying to kill us. Boy, I tell you can't get no stranger than us. Boy, you can't get no stranger than us. Dude trying to kill you, and you over here mourning for him. Jeremiah chapter 16, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
The word of Yahweh came also unto me, saying, You shall not take you a wife, neither shall you have sons or daughters in this place. For thus say Yahweh concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bare them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land, they shall die of grievous death.
But Yahweh, they look so good, though. Can I marry just one of them? Okay. Go ahead.
They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried.
Uh-huh.
But they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth.
They weren't going to be buried. They're going to die, and their body's going to lay on top of this dirt. Now, you marry or procreate in that, and then that means that's your offspring laying there on that dirt. Do we consider when we go into something the spirit of what's already there? Do we think that we so dynamite that you going to change the evil spirit that operates in the place? It's going to change because you walked in there. Matter of fact, everything changed. Everything changed because you showed up. Go ahead.
They shall be consumed by the sword and by the famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven, and for the beasts of the earth.
This is already going to happen because Yahweh has already said, all right, look, I'm done dealing with this situation here. But you done found something you like in it. Go ahead.
For thus says Yahweh, enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament, nor bemoan them. For I have taken away my peace from this people.
Wait a minute. Yahweh has taken his peace from a place. Then you take yourself up in the place and can't figure out why you ain't had nothing but turmoil since you went to the place. His peace ain't in that. Go ahead.
For I have taken away my peace from this people, says Yahweh, even loving kindness and mercies. Both the great and the small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning, to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or for their mother. You shall not also go into the house of feasting to sit with them to eat and to drink.
Wait a minute. Don't go mourn with them and don't be happy with them either. Damn. I done took my peace. He said, don't even go be sad with them. Well, I mean, you know what, Yahweh, they lost some people. So, I want to go over there and I'm going to be sad with them. Nope. But Yahweh, they just got a new stereo and we're going to listen to the bump. Nope. He said, I took my peace. So, herein lies a question. Keep reading. We're going to get to that question. Keep reading.
For thus says Yahweh of hosts, the El of Israel, behold, I'll cause to see out of this place in your eyes, and in your days the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride. And it shall come to pass, when you shall show this people all these words, and they shall say unto you, wherefore has Yahweh pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our lawlessness? Or what is our sin that we have committed against Yahweh our Elohim? Then shall you say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, says Yahweh, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law.
Right. So then these actions that are presently happening are about something that was previously done. Now imagine you done brought your little simple self in and you dealing with what you see now. The problem is you don't know that the condition that they are in is because of what happened previously. But you are not aware of that. Go ahead.
And you have done worse than your fathers. For, behold, you walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that you may not hearken unto me. Therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that you know not, neither you nor your fathers. And there shall you serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh lives that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh lives that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I'll send for many fishers, says Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks.
Now why would he have to do that if all of the people went to one place? Why does he have to have this whole world expedition to go get the children of Israel when all he got to do is tell them to come out of this one place? Right. Read.
For my eyes are upon all their ways. They're not hid from my face, neither is their lawlessness hid from mine eyes. And first I'll recompense their lawlessness and their sin double, because they have defiled my land, they have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto you from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Now, these are the things that the Gentiles going to say. Our fathers have inherited lies. They're going to realize that what they have been walking in is not the truth. Go ahead.
Vanity and things wherein there is no profit. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? Therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know, I will cause them to know my land and my might, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10, and we're going to start that at verse 5.
These 12 Yahshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter you not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. Provide neither gold, nor silver, nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. And into whatsoever city or town you shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy,
Inquire who in it is worthy. Okay, go ahead.
and there abide till you go thence.
Uh-huh.
And when you come into an house, salute it.
All right, salute the house when you go into it. Go ahead.
And if the house be worthy,
If the house be worthy.
let your peace come upon
Wait
it.
a minute. Now pause for a second. Yahweh said he took his peace away from those other places, right?
Yes,
he
sir.
said, don't go mourn with it. Don't go be happy with it. Wait a minute. Now, he says here, if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. So, you have to wonder, if you have accidentally left your peace in places where Yahweh done took peace, and then you done dropped off peace to it that it wasn't supposed to have. Interesting. Go ahead.
But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you.
Wait a minute. Let your peace return to you. Don't leave your peace there. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet.
What? Whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when you depart out of that house or that city, shake off the dust of your feet. Go ahead.
Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be you therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
If you're going to be wise as a serpent, then you got to know how a serpent moves. Harmless as a dove, then you ain't trying to do what they do, but I tell you, you know how they move. Go ahead.
I think that was it, verse 15.
That was it. All right, jump to, let's go to Romans chapter 4. To be wise as a serpent, though, sounds, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, man, you got wisdom. The sad part about it is to be wise as a serpent means you got bit by a few of them. I'm sorry. I wish there was some kind of really grandiose way to tell you that you're going to get serpent kind of wisdom. But the only way you're going to get that is they going to sink their teeth into you. That's how you going to learn. Hey, man, why the hell that grass moving like that? Hell no. I done got bit before. I know that. No. Pain brings forth wisdom. See, we want to get wisdom, and just think, hey, life just going to come upon us and we're going to become wise. No. Situation and circumstance going to bring forth wisdom. And when you get to be as wise as a serpent, that means some of them done tricked you. They told you they was your friend. They came unto your lodging, smiled at you, and were talking about you the whole time. A serpent bite with what? Its mouth. Its weapon is its mouth. Once you get bit by a few of them, you learn how they move. So you can watch the snake go this way and anticipate in half a second they're going to be right here. See, you can't even play a football game without understanding you can't throw the ball where the man at. You got to throw the ball where the man going to be. Okay. How is it we can figure out football plays and you can't figure out that damn snake right there? You don't watch that snake move a couple times. How is it that you can't figure out he about to be right there? You notice how they move. If you're going to be wise as a serpent, you pay attention. Now, I'm not going to slither how they slither, but I know how they slither. Go ahead, brother.
Romans chapter 4 and verse 1. What shall we say then? That Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, has found. For if Abraham were justified by works, he has whereof the glory, but not before Elohim. But what says the scripture? Abraham believed Elohim, and it was counted unto him for righteousness.
Wait a minute. Abraham believed Elohim, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. Yahshua says, do you believe that I can do this? Okay, go ahead.
Now to him that works is the reward not reckoned of grace, but of debt. But to him that works not, but believes on him that justifies the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. Even as David also described the blessedness of the man, unto whom Elohim imputes righteousness without works.
Even as David also describes the blessedness of the man, unto whom Elohim imputes righteousness without works. Go ahead.
Saying, blessed are those whose lawlessness are forgiven and whose sins are covered.
Well, Yahshua said to the woman at the well, he said, the woman that was supposed to be caught in the very act of adultery, he said, go and sin no more. Not 9 times did he say she didn't do it. He didn't try to cover it up by falsifying that it happened. Go ahead.
Blessed is the man to whom the Adonai will not impute sin. Comes this blessedness then upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also? For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness. How was it then reckoned? When he was in circumcision or in uncircumcision? Not in circumcision, but in uncircumcision. And he received the sign of circumcision, a seal of the righteousness of the faith which he had yet, being uncircumcised, that he might be the father of all them that believe, though they be not circumcised, that righteousness might be imputed unto them also. And the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only, but who also walk in the steps of that faith of our father Abraham, which he had being yet uncircumcised. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. For if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect. Because the law works wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression. Wherefore it is of faith, that it might be by grace, to the end the promise might be sure to all the seed, not to that only which is of the law, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. As it is written, I have made you a father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even Elohim, who quickened the dead and caused those things which be not as though they were.
Now, Abraham had many wives and concubines afterward, and brought forth sons that populated the earth. That ain't the many nations he's talking about. The Holy Family was set up for between Abraham, Esaac, and Jacob. So then the other nations who grab hold onto that gospel would then be adopted into his tree, thereby bringing forth many nations. Not the physical nations that proceeded out of his loins. Go ahead.
Who against hope believed in hope, that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken, so shall your seed be. And being not weak in faith, he considered not his own body now dead, when he was about 100 years old, neither yet the deadness of Sarah's womb. He staggered not at the promise of Elohim through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to Elohim, and being fully persuaded that what he had promised, he was able also to perform. And therefore it was imputed to him for righteousness.
Right, because he believed in something that he couldn't see. He believed in something that he could not tangibly touch or present to anybody else. Correct?
Now it was not written for his sake alone, but it was imputed to him. But for us also, to whom it shall be imputed, if we believe on him that raised up Yahshua our Adonai from the dead, who was delivered for our offenses and was raised again for our justification.
All right. And let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Elohim, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto Elohim a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Elohim testifying of his gifts, and by it he, being dead, yet speaks. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony, that he pleased Elohim. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that comes to Elohim must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
Now, it says, by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony. So before he was translated, this is what he done. Oh, why they don't mention his calendar? Because these are the things that they're saying about all of these individuals who have done these great things. I mean, surely, man, it would be a pretty great feat if you have done, all of this, and clearly he was supposed to have done it before now. So why did it even mention before his translation? Because after his translation, we have no more connection to him. It talked about he did these things before his translation. Why don't they mention this glorious calendar that people are talking about? Why is it not listed as one of Enoch's accomplishments? That's what I thought. Go ahead, brother.
By faith Noah, being warned of Elohim of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went.
And we know that it takes faith to go out and go to a place, and you don't even know the place where you're going. Go ahead.
By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Esaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is Elohim. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promise, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desired a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore Elohim is not ashamed to be called their El, for he has prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Esau, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Esau shall your seed be called.
So the same thing that he asked to be done by Father Abraham was the same thing that Father Yahweh was going to do. I'm going to offer up my son, but I'm going to get him back. And I'm going to make you offer up yours, and I'm going to get him back. Go ahead.
Accounting that Elohim was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure.
Mm-hmm.
By faith Esau blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was a dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph, and worshipped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel, and gave commandment concerning his bones. By faith Moshe, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith Moshe, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
You have to understand just how terrible that had to be for these people. Verse 23, by faith Moshe, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child. Imagine that they're doing all of this talking about abortion. Okay, imagine actually having the kid and then having them kill the kid. See, abortion, you ain't never got to look in the eye of a child. No, imagine going through all of the kicks, all of the everything, delivering the child, and then them come snatching the child. Do you understand the level of trauma that these people have? See, we'll just read something and then just go by it. Man, there's decades of trauma going on here. There's fear going on here because of this. And to us, it's just a verse on a page in a book. Go ahead.
Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Elohim than to enjoy the pleasure of sin for a season. Esteeming the reproach of Yahshua greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians, essaying to do, were drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down, after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace.
And this was one of the things that we talked about in Bible study. If Yahweh has set forth for you to do a job, not completing that one job could end up ending or causing you to lose your salvation, because that was the very thing that he had set you for. That one thing. By faith, the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace. Wait a minute. She was a non-believer. She was a harlot. But she did a good deed for Israel. Now, what if she didn't understand what time it was? What if she wanted to be loyal to her country, her nation, her people? But she understood that, hey, something's changing here, and I need to be loyal unto these people whom I know not. There are some things that we need to consider, because Yahweh is definitely allowing some gears to be changed, and some serious deeds are being put into motion right in front of us. And it's making changes all over the world. And so far, because we have been in the daughter of Babylon, we have been unscathed by all of the wrong that has been committed. Well, just by sheer default, that cannot continue to keep happening. Judgment has to come full circle. And we have to be preparing ourselves mentally and spiritually for what happened when the gear hits us. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.